no one is around you. Say, baby, I love you. You ain't running game. Say my name, say my name. You acting kinda shady. Ain't calling me baby. It's a change. Say my name, say my name. No one is around you. Say, baby, I love you. You ain't running game. Say my name, say my name. You acting kinda shady. Ain't calling me baby. Better say my name. The other day, I would call, you would say, baby, how's your day? But today, it ain't the same. Every other word is a yeah, okay. Could it be that you are at the crib with another lady? If you took it there, first of all, let me say, I am not the one to sit around and play. So prove yourself to me, if I'm the girl that you claim. Why don't you say the things that you said to me yesterday? I know you say that I was doing things. Something's going down, that's the way it seems. You know, we know they acting strange.
Be like, damn, slow down. I know you see it clean, adjusting her crown. She been knocked down, but she never stayed down. She been living life like it's her playground. And they be like, damn, slow down. They can catch us.
Hey y'all. Hey. Good afternoon. If you are tuned in, welcome back to All the Way Home with Audrey, where we talk about trending news that's going to ride you all the way home after a long, busy day of work. You guys, yes, I've been away. I know y'all need to just smack my hand because, baby, I just be so busy doing other things. Like I'm just someone, I don't like to just half-ass put out content to you guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I feel like I can't get enough information on the story, or if I feel like I just don't have anything to talk about, I'm not someone that's gonna just come up here and not talk about anything. You know what I'm saying? Or just not know what I'm saying, So sometimes I'll just be like, you know what, I don't have anything planned. Yeah. So I haven't did no all the way home with you guys in a while, but today's episode is gonna be all about Kyrie Irving, and it's gonna be like a kind of an extension of what we talked about a couple weeks ago in regards to Kanye West. I feel like this one is way more important to talk about, and I'm gonna of course break it down for y'all. Y'all know I got all the details. Gonna wrap it up in a bow, and this is only gonna be part one. Part two is gonna be about the documentary that he shared within itself. So I gotta run the clock up a little bit so the people listening won't get me in trouble. So anyway, hey CC, hey Tiffany, hey AK, hey Miss Rye, hey Brina, hey the coolest Jazz. She said she finally caught a live. Yes, well, baby, you wasn't missing nothing because I ain't really been uploading, but we're here today. We are here today, and so before we get started, can y'all let me know in the chat, has anyone actually been hearing or keeping up with this story? Hi, Tangela. Have y'all been keeping up with this story in regards to Kyrie Irving and what's going on surrounding him being suspended, this documentary, and now allegedly him retiring? Has anybody been keeping up? Let me know in the comments because, baby. Okay, you have. Denise said drop the link. What we dropping the link for? Hold on. Denise, can you tell me what we dropping the link for? Okay, Denise, let me know what you need the link for, baby. Not sure. I only saw conditions they want him to do to return. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I am someone that I'm not really good at sports. I really don't know too much. Yes, I've been wanting to discuss this. Okay, Denise. Okay, I'll drop the link. Let me talk about the story first, and then I'll take call-ins because that would be a lot better. I love when people want to call in. But I'll be honest, y'all, I don't know much about sports, but let me tell y'all, over the past few years, I have learned so much about Kyrie Irving, and none of it has to do with basketball. So Kyrie Irving is a godly. Is he a guard? He plays for the Nets, y'all. Kyrie Irving plays for the Nets. I don't even know what position he plays. I think it's the guard. I don't even know, baby. Don't get me to making stuff up. But he is baby, what is he? What's his position? I don't know. He plays for the Nets though, y'all. And he has these tennis shoes. But every time I hear about Kyrie Irving, it's about something that he has said or done or not done. So I'm going to take it back a few years ago. The first time that I ever heard of Kyrie Irving was because he said that he didn't know if the world was flat or not. And I thought it was so absurd that he actually had to issue an apology for saying this. I kid y'all not. This was like legit the first time I've ever knew who Kyrie Irving was. I don't follow basketball, but let me know in the comments. Have y'all ever heard of that? Him being connected to saying that he didn't know if Yes, Miss Raw. I'm gonna get to that one next. That's the second one. But this one was it for me when he said the world was flat. Now, if people don't know, there is a long-standing debate about if the world is round or not. And trust me, baby, I am not here to convince you guys that it's flat or round. I am one to say I do not know. I do not know. It's a conspiracy. So many people have talked about it. I don't even know the benefit of if the world is flat or round. But I remember Kyrie Irving having to issue a formal apology for saying that he did not know that the world was flat. And the reason why he was basically shunned, and I'm going to play the clip for you guys, is because they basically told him that he should have known better than to say something like that, because he is someone that is of a high standard, if you will. And I thought that was so crazy because I'm like, hold on. So if he, just because he is someone that plays basketball and he has a lot of followers, he can't even just like randomly speak about things in his life or things that he believes is true or doesn't know. He can't have an open dialogue to find out if what other people believe. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip of, it's a really short clip of what he said. And I feel like it's a common trend on what he, of this, and it's been happening, time and time again surrounding Kyrie Irving. And y'all know me, I like to prove points when it's needed. I think I'm just gonna have to play it on my phone. Hold on. Let me go to ESPN. Okay, so we're going to read it together. Yes, Denise, and you hit it right on the head. He is a free thinker. And you guys, y'all know, if y'all follow me, I am too a free thinker. I don't try to push my beliefs on other people. I don't even, I'm not into that, but I'm one that I love to see what other people think. So here goes the news article. This happened back in 2018. I didn't even know it was that long ago. It was kind of hard for me to find this, but I knew he said this. So the title is Kyrie Irving apologizes for saying Earth is flat. Didn't realize the effect. What is the effect of saying that? Like, y'all, let me know. Like I said, I'm not dibbling dabbling in this. I don't know why this was a big deal, but it was. It says Kyrie Irving apologized Monday for saying last year that the Earth is flat, explaining he didn't realize the effect his comments would have. The Boston Celtics point guard, oh, that's his position, speaking at Forbes Under 30 Summit in Boston, was asked at the conference to state once and for all which side he is on in the debate over the Earth's shapes. So here goes the little clip it, and he's basically going to explain why he said this.
You said you're joking, and then you weren't joking. So which is it? Which side are you on?
Well, I mean, hopefully after this, I'm done answering.
Good. Let's clear it up for good. You never have to be asked again.
For good. I mean, people are gonna ask me regardless, but I think the like what you say and what you do and how you mean it. At the time, I was like huge into conspiracies. Everybody's been there. Everybody's been there. Like, yo, what's going on with our world? Like you click a YouTube click and it goes like how deep the rabbit hole goes. It's like, yo, you start telling all your friends like, yo, did you see that? Did you watch this video? I'm telling you, it was. At the time, it was like, you're like innocent in it, but you realize the effect of the power of voice, and even if you believe in that, it's like you just like, well, don't come out and say that stuff. That's for intimate conversations, because reception, how you're received, it just changes. Like, no, I'm actually a smart ass individual. Like, no, it's just like, so it's not like it's not like I was just coming out and saying that. So it was like at the time, just didn't realize the effect. And I was definitely at that time like, I'm a big conspiracy theorist. You can't tell me anything. Right. So yeah, I'm sorry about all that. You know, for all the science teachers, everybody coming up to me like, I gotta reteach my whole curriculum. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize.
You have a large influence.
Were you guys able to hear that? So there you guys have it. He basically said that he was just deep into conspiracies. He was just, shooting the shit with other people, talking about things, and he just happened to tweet, he didn't know if the world was flat or not, but that, other people like teachers, scientists had to basically tell him like, because you said this, I had to go and retrain other people and, basically show them that the world is not flat. I mean, it's round. And to me, it's unfair to him and anyone else that wants to practice their First Amendment right, wants to learn, and wants to do better. Kyrie Irving has every right to tweet what he wants as long as it's respectful. If he tweeted he did not know if the world was flat or not, right? Ideally, someone of a different viewpoint should have kindly inboxed him and said, hey, why do you think this? I have evidence that suggests that the world is round, and then vice versa. Oh, I have evidence to suggest that the world is flat. A healthy dialogue, and that is why people would like to learn. But a lot of people are uncomfortable with living in their truth, or uncomfortable with even asking questions because of things like this. Just because Kyrie Irving is some multi-millionaire great basketball star does not mean that he is secluded from having a chance to learn something new, view different viewpoints. And if he doesn't agree with the masses or the majority, he's shunned. It's a very, very, very dangerous rhetoric to even promote. But when it comes to Kyrie Irving, you can tell that this over time has been something that has been forced upon him. So that brings us to the next topic. Yes, Denise, you hitting it right on the head. I'm happy that you're following this. So she says, yes, it's okay to play devil's advocate when it's topics that don't affect a person's well-being. Exactly. The world being round or flat does not affect our well-being, in my opinion. I don't know. Now, hey, if you have a different viewpoint, please feel free to drop down. But just being a free thinker, being an open thinker, and being someone that grew up in the generation of technology, grew up in the generation of social media, I feel like this type of things are going to continue to happen. In 20 years, it's going to be a whole different topic that someone else is going to research, because let's be realistic. The world being round, only so many people has flown to the moon, right? And seen the world. But there is a whole conspiracy theory that no one ever flew to the moon. Y'all know that, right? Y'all know that there's a whole conspiracy that says that astronauts never flew to the moon. I can't say which one is true or not because I wasn't in there, but there is conspiracies like that. So with technology and with social media being at an all-time high, it is so much easier to speak about open conspiracies because there is no gap anymore. There is, basically when you had to speak about conspiracies growing up before technology, it was more so kitchen table talk where you will be talking with your friends or your family and y'all would basically gossip on what you believe. And media basically was in control of what you learned. Period, point blank. The media is something so huge on what controls what we learn. We see this with the royals and how they basically force them, anybody that's in the royal family, they force them to give things to the media and take things away. So it's propaganda is real and it's very controlling. So now that we're in social media, we don't necessarily have to rely on the media. We can talk to any and everyone, normal people every day. So back to my second point with hey Dovely, hey Miss Rice, hey Pure. With the second point is Kyrie Irving, as y'all know, a couple years ago, we was in that big panorama, right? And there was a huge controversy surrounding him and a few other NBA stars regarding the jab. You guys should know exactly what the jab means. But Kyrie Irving was basically at the forefront of this controversy because he said, and I quote, he's not anti-jab as far as any jab, but he feels like it's not fair to tell people what to do with their body. Is that not a trend these days? Ladies, I know that I have a majority of women audience. We believe that, right? Because people love to tell us what we should do to our bodies as women. So Kyrie Irving is just someone that happens to be a basketball player that shoots basketballs, y'all. He said he does not think it's fair to tell people what to do with their bodies. And he basically lost $100 million because he stood firm on not wanting to get the jab. But people basically prosecuted him and made him feel like a bad person. Like it was two sides of the spectrum. It was people like, you're letting your team down. So it was this whole, oh, how could you do that? They need you to play, blah blah, and if you don't get the jab, you can't play. But then there was a whole other portion that was, again, kind of like the world is flat conspiracy. Oh, you should know better than to talk like this in your position. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. When it comes to entertainment, I don't really care for anybody's position because they're entertainers. Now, him being an athlete is entertainment to me. So I don't hold him to a standard where his word is bond. If I'm going to talk to people and I want to take something away and learn things and kind of hold them to a standards, politicians are the main ones, right? Because it's like, y'all should know better. Y'all help pick the laws. Y'all help regulate laws. So we kind of hone in on what the fuck they have to say, because if you saying some shady stuff, that can impact me, right? But an NBA player saying certain things, I truly would not feel any type of way because they don't have the quote unquote power in my position, especially a basketball player. Like I can't name you any basketball players and what they've done for me. And that's just not to say that they haven't, but I'm just telling you guys, I have never been moved. So the way that they prosecuted this man and persecuted this man and made it seem like he was doing something so absurd. And then here we are, 2022. Fast forward, it was revealed that he was not the only teammate on that team that did not get the jab at all. And even when they tried to pass that the mandate was going to go through, the Supreme Court actually denied that and said, no, you cannot relinquish people's free will based off of religious reasons, personal reasons, that type of thing. So, of course, him and others did not have to get the jab, as they should not have been forced to, and all is well. Cool. Fast forward. Here we are, late October, and one second, you guys. I'm so sorry, you guys. My baby came in. But fast forward to late October, Kyrie Irving actually just made a tweet and he has shared this documentary, and it is called From Hebrews to Negroes. And it's a documentary that is on Amazon Prime. Let me know in the chat, has anybody heard of this documentary? Now, the documentary was basically came forth after two books. So it's actually a book series. And basically the documentary is just breaking down melanated people, Black people in our history. If you guys are familiar with Hidden Colors, it is something of that type of era, like, kind of get the same feel of, they're just breaking down Hebrews and Israelites. Now, I am not a Hebrew and I'm not an Israelite. On part two, I'm going to try to do my best. I do know two Israelites and I want to pick their brains and get some kind of information about this whole stance, because I'm not one. I know that a lot of people are. I can't speak for certain on what exactly the documentary is about. I'm going to watch the documentary tonight with my husband, and we are going to we're going to dissect it. So I implore you all to go watch it, because just a little tidbit, they're trying to get Amazon to take it down. Okay. So he had just tweeted, he did not say anything. He had just basically tweeted the cover of the documentary, right? And almost like a couple hours later, the Celtics owner, actually tweeted that he expected more for Kyrie Irving because he shouldn't have never tweeted something like that. And what is the like that? He did not say his stance. He did not say if it was right or wrong. He just tweeted the cover art. So let me actually get into exactly what the owner has said. Hold on. Okay, someone said previously heard of the book but didn't get into the documentary. The documentary is super, super long. I believe it's like 3 hours. When I was gonna watch it today while I was working, my husband was like, I actually want to watch it. So I'm like, okay, I won't watch it. I'll watch it with you. But let me see. So does anyone know, let me just say this, does anyone know exactly what a Hebrew or Israelite is? Like, do y'all know that think of the biblical times, think of Egypt, think of Africa. Y'all know that there was a whole there was slavery back then. So basically, what the documentary and what they believe is that they are the originators of God. They are the true descendants of God. They are the true ones, basically. That is what I believe the gist of it is in regards to the Hebrews' connection to Jesus, right? Jesus and Yahweh, or whatever you choose to call him. So let me pull it up. Hold on. I cannot believe I lost my screenshot. I gotta do better. Okay, so he said, I'm disappointed that Kyrie appears to support a film based on a book full of anti Semitic disinformation. I want to sit down and make sure he understands this is hurtful to all of us. As a man of faith, it is wrong to promote hate based on race, ethnicity, or religion. This is more than basketball. So that is basically what he had to say on October 28th after Kyrie Irving posted just the um based off of just posting the cover of the documentary. Kyrie Irving never ever went back and said if he believed in the documentary, if he hated the documentary. Like, literally, there was nothing else said about the documentary besides him just posting the cover art. So it's really weird that not only would people be up in arms, but for the team's owner to actually speak out first, to me, is kind of weird, because truthfully, we don't get the same energy when it comes to our race. So it's very dangerous. Again, it's another dangerous rhetoric that we should always be shunned for other races issues and problems, and how it's dangerous for them versus when it's us. So many things have been said about us. So many misinformation has been promoted about us, and a lot of things that has happened to us is constantly swept under the rug for generations and generations, right? Slavery was only 400 years ago, you guys. That's not that long ago. Post slavery, we had segregation. Post that, we've had so many battles that we've had to fight, and so many people are able to maintain their jobs, their statuses. Meanwhile, they disrespect us on the daily. So, when they asked him about if he was saying that he believed the blacks are Jews. That is not something to believe. It is a fact that that some Jews are blacks, are black people. All the Jews were not white. Basically, we get this. And y'all want to know why? Because Jewish is okay, they would call it a race, yes, but it's also a religion, right? So, you can definitely have been a black Jew. There was plenty of black Jews that have been documented and killed during that time. So I don't understand why it's so hard, or why it's so harsh to say that. I don't even know if I'm going to offend someone by saying it now, but I've said that when I spoke on Kanye West. It's not hard to believe. There were black Jews. That's it. That's all. Okay? It's not to say that there weren't white Jews. We know that it was both. So, getting back on the topic, the owner basically said that he wanted to sit down with Kyrie Irving. Well, Kyrie Irving basically was like, I mean, what do you want? Like, I didn't say anything bad. Well, they was basically giving him a timeline. These people gave him a timeline for him to apologize. So, right after the tweet, after he did the tweet, he actually had a basketball practice, and he was basically being interviewed, and this is what he actually had to say in regards to it. Yes, Emily, I agree. I feel like it's something with them. They don't like to hear because I don't understand. It's the truth. It's not a lie. I don't know why they don't like to hear that. I don't know if it takes away from their mission. I don't know, but it's really weird. So I'm about to play you guys his reasoning of why he actually tweeted the thing, and it's really just like a wow, it's just that simple, right? It's just that simple.
I went on the Amazon Prime. I was like, you know what? Let me see if there are any documentaries on Yahweh. So went in the search bar, typed in Yahweh. That came up. Went out and shared it on my platform. That was my night. In terms of the backlash or what people call it, we're in 2022. History is not supposed to be hidden from anybody. And I'm not a divisive person when it comes to religion. I embrace all walks of life. You see it on all my platforms. I talk to all races, all cultures, all religions. And my response would be, it's not about educating yourself on what Semitism is and what anti-Semitism is. It's really about learning the root words of where these come from and understanding that this is an African heritage that is also belonging to the people. Africa is in it, whether we want to dismiss it or not. So the claims of anti-Semitism and who are the original chosen people of God, and we go into these religious conversations and it's a big no-no. I don't live my way like that. I don't live my life that way. Excuse me. I grew up in a melting pot, and I say a melting pot of all races: white, black, red, yellow, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, and you can see the way I live my life now. I'm not here to be divisive, so they could push their agenda. I don't want to say they, because I'm not identifying any one group or race of people, but I'm in a unique position to have a level of influence on my community. And what I post does not mean that I support everything that's being said or everything that's being done, or I'm campaigning for anything. All I do is post things for my people in my community and those that it's actually going to impact. Anybody else that has criticism, it obviously wasn't meant for them.
Hopefully I'm understanding what you said, and I want to make sure I get it right because I don't want to misquote any part of it.
I don't expect understanding from a media conglomerate group that sincerely talks about the game of basketball, and then we bring up religion as if it's correlative at times when it's convenient for people to bring it up. So please just be direct with your question so we can move on from this and I could talk about the game and go home to my son, Elohim, and my wife, Marlene, okay?
Am I to take it that this was, what you shared was not something that you've even watched? This was, you did watch it, or either watch it or read it.
I had a lot of time to read a lot. Read a whole bunch. Good and bad about the truth of our world.
So then do you, I guess, understand or not understand those that might imply that that work had anti-Semitic leanings in it? I only ask this because the tweet is still up there, so
we're in 2022. It's on Amazon, a public platform. Whether you want to go watch it or not is up to you. There's things being posted every day. I am no different than the next human being, so don't treat me any different. You guys come in here and make up this powerful influence I have over top of the adultery of, oh, you cannot post that. Why not? Why not?
It's a beep right here in this, because YouTube likes to edit and censor it. But he basically said people can say nigga and nigger on Twitter. That's what he said. That's what was beeped out.
I don't hear uproar on that. I'm not here to be divisive on what's going on this or that. I'm not comparing Jews to blacks. I'm not comparing white to black. I'm not doing that. That conversation is dismissive, and it constantly revolves around the rhetoric of who are the chosen people of God. And I'm not here to argue over a person or a culture or religion on what they believe. No, this is what is here. It's on a public platform. Did I do anything illegal? Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did I do anything illegal? Did I hurt anybody? Did I harm anybody? Am I going out and saying that I hate one specific group of people? So out of all the judgment that people got from me posting, I just, without talking to me, and then I respect what Joe said, but there has a lot to do with the not ego or pride of how proud I am to be an African heritage, but also to be living as a free black man here in America, knowing the historical complexities for me to get here. So I'm not gonna stand down on anything that I believe in. I'm only gonna get stronger because I'm not alone. I have a whole army around me.
Kyrie, while we're on the topic of promotion, why did you decide to promote something that Alex Jones said?
That was a few weeks ago. I do not stand with Alex Jones' position, narrative, court case that he had with Sandy Hook, or any of the kids that felt like they had to relive trauma, or parents that had to relive trauma, or to be dismissive to all the lives that were lost during that tragic event. My post was a post from Alex Jones that he did in the early 90s or late 90s about secret societies in America of occults, and it's true. So I wasn't identifying with anything of being a campaignist for Alex Jones or anything. I was just there to post. And it's funny, and it's actually hilarious, because out of all the things I posted that day, that was the one post that everyone chose to see. It just goes back to the way our world is and works. I'm not here to complain about it. I just exist.
And to follow up on the promotion of the movie and the book,
Can you please stop calling it a promotion? What am I promoting?
put it out on your platform.
But I'm promoting it? Do you see me
By
in front of
putting it out there,
the
people
title?
are going to say that you are
Yeah, I put it out there
promoting-
just like you put things out there, right?
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's not
You put
stuff,
things out there for a living, right?
right? But my stuff
Great.
is
So
not
let's move on.
filled
Let's
with
move on.
anti-Semitic
Let's
stuff.
move on. Don't dehumanize me up here.
I'm not doing
I'm
that.
another
You're
human
free
being.
to post
I can
what.
post whatever I want. So
can post
say
what-
that and shut it down and move on to the next question.
But Kyrie, you have to understand that by
I don't have to
post-
understand anything from you.
but it's
Nothing.
not me.
Nothing.
By
It's no
posting
people that
what
you're
you
making up,
did.
bro. Move on.
But by posting
Move
what
on.
you
Next
did,
question. Next
anybody
question. Do
is
you
going
guys
to
have
look
any more
at
questions
it
for
and they're
me?
going to say,
You guys have any more
Does he have
questions? Because this is going to be a
anti-Semitic
clip.
beliefs?
This is going to be a clip that he's going to marvel at. Is this any more questions?
but you're not answering the question.
Oh, this is another answering your question. Oh my God, let's make another Instagram clip so we could be famous again. Next question.
Kyrie, basketball.
It being important to build on that defense.
Woo! So, baby, okay, when I saw this took place on October 29th. When I saw this interview, multiple things stood out to me. The main one was, did they talk about basketball? He's a basketball player, right? This was after a game. They didn't talk about basketball. He even said that. He's like, I am confused as to why we are talking about anything other than the my job, which is basketball. But they were playing on his words. They were playing on the situation. So they kept calling this a promotion, like he promoted something. And it's like, what did he promote again? He basically shared it, and that is fine. Everyone is able to share what you want. But is it safe to say that media promotes racism when it comes to Black people being disrespected and disowned? Because they really do choose to put out the worst articles of us. They put out oh, such and such said blah 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 with no repercussion. No repercussion. And they make money off of it. They capitalize off of it. So they promote these things. But Kyrie Irving basically said, we are able to learn our history. We are able to know these things. We are able to have dialogues. We are able to talk about certain things. It's 2022. I had a lot of time last year. Y'all know that was shade because he didn't get the jab to read and learn about things. So him on his journey of learning about things, learning about life, he should be able to talk about it. Period, point blank. Him being a basketball player had nothing to do with that documentary. He did not pay for that documentary. He did not back it up. He didn't do anything of the sorts. But even if he chose to do so, that's fine. He can. It's his right. The main thing is that was weird to me is this is a documentary that has been out for a while on Amazon. Amazon not only is owned by a successful white man, they have to know exactly what they're putting on their platform. If they have it on their platform, why can't other people share it? Like he said, it's weird. Why are we acting like he went on some hidden website and found it? Like, y'all know Hidden Colors is a documentary that is not shared on mainstream media. That it's not something that you can easily access. You have to go to the Hidden Colors website and actually purchase the 4 documentaries of this. But it's really weird that From Hebrews to Negroes is actually readily available. All you have to do is pay $10 to rent it. So why are they saying that he promoted it? Why are they basically chastising him and holding him to this standard when all he did was share it? He never once said if he agreed or disagreed, which he could. If he said he agreed with everything, I don't think that was a problem either. And if he said he disagreed with everything, I don't think that's a problem either. Yeah, none of his teammates are speaking up about him. Everyone is basically scared. So this was basically on October, I think it was on October, let me see. Oh, let me talk about the Alex Jones. So Alex Jones spoke out in regards to a conspiracy on regarding the Sandy Hook. So he has been blackballed, basically. Kyrie Irving shared a old video clipping of him well before Sandy Hook ever happened, the 90s, like he said. So they then tried to attach him to Alex Jones and saying that he stands in solidarity with Alex Jones. Like, I can agree with what someone had said 5 years ago, and then they can turn around and say something not related to that topic, but something completely different decades later that I don't agree with. But I could still agree with the old clip. But they try to basically attach him to someone and basically accuse him of believing in more outrageous beliefs that are, race driven, basically. So I wanted to explain that really quickly because I was like, what is the Alex Jones about? So I had to look it up, but that's basically the gist of it. So with the timeline that happened, after this, he actually had another game. They actually avoided letting him be in any interviews. His team was like, "Nah, you ain't doing no interviews." This was on November the 1st. They was like, no interviews for him because they knew he was gonna cut up and that the news reporters was gonna cut up. So on November 2nd, Kyrie actually announced that he was going to donate $500,000 to anti-hate causes. He did not say just one group, just anti-hate causes. He was going to donate 500,000 and that the Nets was also going to match that. So basically $1 million was going to be donated to anti-hate causes. He also went on to say, I'm aware of the negative impact of my post towards the Jewish community and I take responsibility. He also then said, I do not believe everything said in the documentary was true or reflects my morals and principles. We all know what that means. You take a little bit of it, you leave some of it. That's how I've always been taught. I don't agree with almost half the things that I watch in its entirety. It's parts where I'm like, ooh, I didn't like that part. Just on a random movie, I could be like, I didn't like that plot, but I did like the intro. I did like the end. You take what you want and leave what you don't. That's it. I don't understand why it was so hard. Well, that was not good enough. They wanted him to apologize. Say, I am not anti Semitic. I apologize. So, no. The very next day, he was actually suspended. They was like, no, you need to actually say you're sorry. You need to say it. So after that, they basically said that he needed to do a list of things to get back on the team, to be unsuspended. And hold on. Let me see the list. The list of requirements was crazy to me. Let me see the list. Hold on. I think I have the screenshot. Okay, so following his suspension, he actually did issue this apology, and it says, to all Jewish families and communities that are hurt and affected by my post, I am deeply sorry to have caused you pain, and I apologize. I initially reacted out of emotion, being unjustly labeled anti-Semitic. Instead of focusing on the healing process of my Jewish brothers and sisters that were hurt from hateful remarks made in the documentary. So basically, that's what he said, but that still was not. He was like, no, I'm not. He basically still didn't say sorry. Y'all know how that go. He basically was doing some wordplay. The very next day, he was dropped from his deal with Nike. Now, he has this lucrative shoe. I've never bought the shoes. My husband said, hell yeah, his shoes is like real. People love them. He had a deal with Nike for the, I don't even know what they call shoes. Are they tennis shoes, basketball shoes, whatever. And they actually released him as a partner. He will no longer do business with Nike because they said that at Nike, we believe there is no place for hate speech and we condemn any form of anti-Semitism. And which I think is so crazy because they always say this, but they never say these type of things when it comes to Black lives and how we're treated. So I think it's so crazy. But sorry. So they suspended Kyrie for 5 games. He cannot return until, or he was not supposed to return until November 13th. And today it was released that he is set to retire because of all the backlash. Like, he basically, in my opinion, he don't want to deal with it. He don't want to deal with it. He said his piece. But do y'all feel like he should be in this much trouble? Quote, air quotes around that. This much trouble for only posting a picture of a show. Do y'all think he should be in this much trouble? I truly don't. I feel like other artists, other players, other athletes, they have said some disparaging things. They have watched some disparaging things in the comfort of their home, and they probably, half of them probably don't even like the people that they play with. And that's fine. That's fine. They are there to dribble the ball. That's just my opinion. And I'm not downplaying athletes, but I'm just like, can we focus on what their job is? He's an athlete. He dribbles the ball. What he dribbles is going to help that team. But for everybody to turn their back on him, especially LeBron James, it's just so crazy to me. Y'all know LeBron James and Kyrie Irving apparently always had a beef, whatever. So he was the first to speak out and was like, I feel like it's wrong. And it's like, LeBron James, shut up. Shut up. Y'all never, ever, 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 ever stand in solidarity with your brethren. Like, for real? Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing at all, because this is how I feel. I know y'all scared of losing y'all money. I know y'all scared of the massa. Don't upset him. Don't get in trouble. But at the end of the day, if you know that he did nothing wrong and you too scared to say something, don't say anything at all. But y'all know he didn't do nothing wrong. He's always in trouble for some bullshit. And it don't be nothing that serious. Like, y'all don't have this energy for the athletes that's beating the hell out of their wives and girlfriend. You don't have this energy for the athletes that are going to hotels and overdosing and killing the P words that come and, give them deals and, jobs for $100. Like, y'all don't have any of this energy for those type of things, but y'all have way too much. Yes, the owner of the Suns was caught in 4K saying the hard ER. Yes, but it's okay. There is no united front when it comes to the racism and the mistreatment of melanated people, period, point blank. There is no, oh, you are anti-Black and we won't stand for that. They don't do that. They don't do that. But for whatever reason, this you can't talk about this group of people. It is so real and weird to me. To me. Okay, we got a caller. Hey, Denise.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I missed some of it because I had to go do something. But this Kyrie, are we still talking about the Kyrie situation?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I just feel like this situation, to your point in the beginning, like the whole thing with the world is flat, that's a harmless opinion. Go ahead, say what you want, freedom of speech, right? But I think there is some responsibility to be taken when you go out of your way to publicize something that could incite feelings from somebody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't fault those people for how far they're willing to go for their name, right? So what he shared, that documentary, for one, the stuff in there is just interpretation of whatever somebody else interpreted, you feel me, their existence to be. That's the first thing. Nothing in there is fact. Nothing in religion at all is fact. It's all just whoever we believe, and we respect each other's beliefs and go about our days. So to post something like that, that purposely, quotes Hitler and says things like Jews are making up their past and they're only doing that because they took Black people's spot. It's so ignorant, one, and it's harmful. So how do you post something like that at the time that you post it, right? During the week that the Jewish people are literally reprimanding Kanye West for doing something similar. So how do you do something worse, something directly targeted, and then double down, stand on it, right? And then think that the repercussions won't exist for you because, oh, well, this happens. These white players do this and that. They sure do. We knew that they do this and that. We know the world and how it's set up. We know the roles we play. So when you do something like that, you knew the reaction it would get. So to do that and then to kind of stand on Black people's backs to do it and say, oh, well, I'm doing this in the name of my brothers and sisters. I'm sorry. I did not ask you to do that, sir. Don't lose your success in your spot to prove points that don't need to be proven. If the point that you're trying to prove is that Jewish people run the world, we knew that. I don't know who really didn't know that, you know?
Right.
And even if that was your point, there's ways to prove that without doing what you did and attacking somebody else's history. And I think that right there is what people are losing. So now even when they're saying, oh, LeBron's a coon because he said that Kyrie was wrong. So you want this man to risk his career even though he knows that that is wrong. Hate speech is hate speech, no matter who says it and who it's against, right? So in that organization, so what you want every Black NBA player to stand up, risk their career and their own personal beliefs to say, oh, no, I stand behind Kyrie. That's insane. We ask people all the time to not be complicit when things like this happen. You feel me? So how can you expect people not to go against the same rules that we set up in these organizations when it comes to hate speech? I think Black people like to do the woe is me every time, especially Black men. I had this argument with my coworker today at work. He's like, oh, nah, Kyrie's right. And y'all, you acting like a white woman. Why? Why am I acting like a white woman? Because I'm holding responsible. Every time Black men do something and get held responsible, they want to say, oh, well, the white man did this. Well, a white man did this. They're wrong too. And we know that. That doesn't make you any less wrong. And it doesn't make you feel me, void of consequences. And you know the consequences will be harsher. So what they're doing to him, damn, it sucks. You feel me? But what he did was wrong. And not only was it wrong, he stood on it for so long that, of course, now they're going to prove a point to him because you're attacking the exact people that you work for. So how did he not know that previously? I think celebrities just need to stop talking altogether. You know, whatever you believe it. I think that whole trying to think you're on this higher power and you know so much more than everybody else, so you have to give us this grand awakening and your third eye is open. It's okay. All the information is out there. People want it, they'll find it. You know, that's how I feel about the whole situation.
So, with your stance, and I respect it. I feel like there's two sides to every stance, and I feel like what you said is true. That we automatically know that we are going to be held to a disadvantage. We're not going to be held to the same standard. We're not going to get cut any slack, right? So why say certain things? Why do certain things, knowing that the punishment is never going to fit the crime? Period. Point blank. But with that same stance, what do you think of someone like Candace Owens?
She's the Black sports reporter, right? Who's like a coon.
That's what they call her. Yeah, some
Okay.
people call her that. So
I
she has
don't.
said a lot of disparaging comments, and a lot of it will be considered hate speech to her own kind. Hence, why they call her, the "oon" word, right?
Right.
She hasn't lost any deals. She actually gets
Right.
publicized so much, even though a lot of her rhetoric is dangerous and harmful
Hmm.
to the Black community, and
And you
is
know what?
detrimental to us. But she's
You
back
know,
people who
that's
believe.
That's a
Um,
great question, right? And I didn't really think much about her before because I've really just chalked her out of my bubble of people
hell
that
yeah.
I even look for. But this is the thing about the Black community, and I love the Black community. You feel me? I've marched on front lines, I stand, whatever. At the end of the day, if you don't hold the people responsible, nobody else in high power is gonna care to do it. So even when it comes to people like Kanye, Candace Owens, whatever, like
Mhm.
we don't we don't hold people responsible for what they do in our community, right? So they make these comments, we laugh it out. And that might be a trauma response, right? Everything is a joke. We joke them out, make fun of her, da da da. We
Mhm.
don't respect her in our community. We just shun her from our community. But our community isn't the overall community, so they still succeed in their other areas, right? But if we actually stood on the things that we cared about, like, for example, these Jewish people who not backing down and they really stand on what they're saying, it'd be different reactions to things when people go out their way to offend us. Even the whole Kanye said, oh, first he said Black people chose slavery or whatever, and then
Yeah, choice.
white lives matter, right? He
Yeah.
said that just 2 weeks ago, but here's everybody defending him this week when y'all didn't even defend him when he said what he said about our own people. There was no accountability for that, and that even trickles into the music. You feel me? This rap music, this culture of just nobody holds anybody accountable for anything in Black. Like, we don't do it. And if anybody does it, it's Black women, and that's not enough. And that's not really Black women's only job. We have other shit to do
Yeah.
than be holding everybody responsible. So I think when we do that and we say, oh, what about this person? What about this person? What have we done in our own community to try to make these people responsible? Even in 2020, when the whole George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, when that whole thing shot up, that was the best. We did our best. We
Mhm.
all came together and we seen results at that time, performative or not. We seen the results, right? When you demand it. But we don't do that all the time. We put it on a shade room, everybody shares it, makes our little commentary, Twitter rounds, and that's it. Jokes, skits, whatever. So you can't expect people to stand on something that we don't even really care to stand for, right? And I think that's just what it comes down to. I don't fault Jewish people for going so hard. Like, if they gonna gather and do what they gonna do, that's what you offended them, and that's what they're gonna do. We need to have the same energy all the time and not be so quick to let shit go or be bought out or be, you know, or think, okay, well, this is the reason why, or this is the reason why. And that's why I think that this whole problem is just, it's not a comparison. Like, you know, and if we're comparing it for real, like, we don't do enough advocating.
We definitely, I feel like that is definitely true. It's only a certain amount of people that actually are willing to go the hard lengths of making sure that we stand on not being disrespected and being mistreated. I do feel like it's unfair, and of course, woe is us. It's unfair to have to say that you guys don't stand for any hate speech, and then turn around and allow other people to be disrespected, and the other people always happen to be the black women and men. But when it's time to speak about Jewish people or anyone else, that's when y'all speak up. It's to me, it's hurtful. But I feel like we do need to stick it to where it hurts. Like me, I'm not gonna support Nike no more, mainly because they're real selective on what they choose to stand for. If y'all don't stand for any hate, y'all shouldn't stand for any of it. But y'all pick and choose again. I'm not gonna support the Celtics, which I never did to begin with. Like I feel like we have to get back into Black Wall Street, back into putting our money into brands that really do represent us, because just last year it was so trendy to promote Black Lives Matter. It was so trendy to put people who was murdered at the hands of the police on their jerseys. Like, you know, it was a trend. But here we are in the thick of it, 2022. Nah, it's not a trend no more. It's not a trend. Like y'all throw us back away, even though we are the biggest consumers. The Celtics owner shouldn't have been able to even get that far and give Kyrie a list of demands, because Kyrie has a right to feel how he feels. I don't feel like that documentary is any less harmful than any other thing. Like I looked up the National Black Anthem, y'all, on YouTube, and literally it was a white woman in blackface singing it. How is that not harmful to our national Black anthem? So it's like y'all pick and choose what y'all allow to be on the internet, which y'all allow for us to access. And it's a lot of disparaging information about us and in regards to slavery. That hasn't been taken away.
That's so true. And everything you're saying is right? I think the point I'm at with, I guess, just America and I guess the world as a whole, is that the systems that are in play are the systems that are in play, right? There's nothing that me, you as individuals, even if we got all our money together, right? These systems are in play for a reason. It's how everything runs. So I think when you reach you know, a part of your life where you're successful, or you reach a point where you're successful, you've made it through these systems and you've been able to garner a spot at the table, so they say.
Right.
Do not jeopardize it to prove points that we already know. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did Kanye and Kyrie really prove? And what did it do? I feel like change is made internally, right? So change is made by sitting at those tables and doing shit internally, and, you know, really making representation known. So getting yourself shunned from those tables, that doesn't do anything in the long run. I think it's just very selfish. Like for Kanye, it's different than Kyrie for me, because Kanye is all selfish intent. He only did that to get out of his deal. He doesn't really care, whatever. That was all for him to get out of his deal and, you know, publicize his own shit and start his own. You feel me? Cool. Kyrie, I feel like, again, whatever point he was trying to prove, right? Which, regardless if it was a point that needed to be made or not, if he was trying to prove a point, he should have stood on it. So coming back and apologizing for some of it's like, what was why did you even, like, you know what I'm saying? What are you really standing for then? What was the point of causing all this disruption and taking a seat from your table and taking your success away, and then trying to have, you know, everybody else standing behind you, and, you know, you want these people to speak again, you know, like, what did that solve? What did that do? It did nothing. There was no actionable solution to that. It just caused a whole lot of noise for nothing. So I think it was kind of performative to me, because you didn't even stand on it, really.
And I feel like, taking it back to what you said about sitting at the table, I was always taught that we don't want to sit at the tables with our oppressors. Like, we need to create our own tables with people that really are about our agendas, because if we know one thing for sure is that they will give us a little bit and make it seem like they've done a lot. We don't want to sit with them, because it's not our job to make them change. They can be who they want to be, because that's who they are. However, we should be who we are, which is kings and queens, innovators, creators, doctors, lawyers, you name it. We don't come from the slums. So when we say sitting at the table, you need to make sure that you're sitting at the table that are of people that are going to really push your agenda. And that happens to be people that want to push the Black agenda. I would never, ever want to sit at a table with someone that I know great granddaddy didn't like me. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion, because that's how I was raised. So I don't feel like there was anything wrong with what Kyrie Irving did. Because he had every right. And if y'all look into Kyrie Irving, he does have this sense of his mother must be a Black woman that taught him to love being Black. He even spoke about how he loves that his mom named him Kyrie because he knows he has roots in Africa. And we can go down a whole little conspiracy of if you really come from Africa and stuff like that. But he probably is someone that definitely believed that. And I do think that him tweeting that Hebrew to Negro was very intentional. Do I think that he thought he was going to be released from anything? No, but it does come on the brink of Kanye West being in so much heat, and he must feel that Kanye West is a free thinker as well. That's just my opinion. I can't say for certain, so I never said it in the video, but I do feel like he was intentional with why he did that. He just didn't, like you said, think it all the way through of what could have happened. But the ball was back in his court because now he's retiring.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like, again, the point, if his point was to uplift Black people and talk about how he believes that we are the original people, that very well, you know, I'm from Philly originally. They are out there, the Black Israelites. Okay.
Yes.
So do you, by all means, if that's what you believe. I think the part that he does have to be accountable for, though, is that documentary specifically expresses that at the expense of another group of people, right? So again, if that was the message, he should have took the time out to make sure his message was concise, so you wouldn't have to come back and say, oh, I didn't agree with all of it, you know, because even that 10% that you didn't agree with, was harmful, and you knew that. So I think that if your goal really was to uplift and, you know, prove, you should have did that, because that's all lost in the smoke. The message is all lost in the smoke now. So I think, like I said, it just, that's where the accountability should be held for him. Like, you didn't, that documentary doesn't fully depict, you know, the truths of what you're saying is separate from you get what I'm saying? Like, there's things in that documentary that didn't need to be included. You could have made your point separately and had your people with you to do that. So I just think it was harmful. And even to your thing about, I don't want to sit at the table with those people, you're right. You know, ideally, I wish we could have our own separate tables, but time and time again, it's been shown that once you reach a certain status and get a certain amount of money, it's kind of hard to separate, you know, those groups of intersectionality, right? So then money becomes your higher status quo. So then, you know, race comes lower. So I think, like, realistically or practically, when it comes down to that, like, just sitting at the table with your money is good enough sometimes. You feel me? Being able to buy your voice, right? Being able to buy into decisions, being able to have these stock options. So that's what I mean by when I say have a seat at the table, have a playing card to negotiate, right? So to the point where your opinion, your money, your revenue, your image is so important, you feel me, that they doing whatever you need so that they can make money. So people like Jay-Z and Beyonce, those people are Black gold mines to white people. And like stuff like that. That's what I mean. Just making sure that you didn't gain all this power and stardom to not even be able to do anything influential or do anything, you feel me? Because these Black celebrities are not trying to make our own Black Wall Streets and stream. You know, they're not doing that. So if you're not doing that, at least advocate in ways that actually help. That's just how I feel about it. I don't feel like his beliefs, if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. Okay. Nobody came down. God did not come down and tell me, hey, be a Christian, because everybody has their own beliefs. It's all based on your own suggestions and what you know, that's fine. But I just think when it comes at somebody else's expense, right? So to say I'm superior because these people, right? Or I'm this because these people, I think that's where the problem lies. And I think that's where it was really unnecessary.
But I feel like the Hebrew lights that I know, Black or white, they all speak like that. They all believe that they're the chosen ones of God, I guess. I don't really know.
Right.
I feel like they all have that, you know, cocky way to them. But before you go, I did want to ask you, so did you watch the whole documentary in the whole 3 hours?
No, absolutely not. I didn't even watch it at all, actually. I didn't watch it at all. But what I did was I researched like where they got their information. So who were they quoting and stuff like that. So just enough to see that they were quoting Hitler and stuff like that. So, okay, clearly, you know, this isn't something that is sensitive to, you feel me, Jews. So either way, if we believe we're the chosen people, you can say, hey, I'm the chosen one. You don't got to say, hey, I'm the chosen one because Jewish people came and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think that
Right.
that's where it is, right? There's ways to say things. And these celebrities, honestly, they just need better publicists, better PR training. Because if anybody was on Kyrie's corner, they would have told him, hey.
But Kyrie shouldn't need a publicist if he's not talking about basketball. In my opinion, I feel like he should have controlled the conversation by shutting it down. Do we have any questions regarding the basketball? Because honestly, he did not have to speak on why he made that tweet. He doesn't have to answer to anyone in regards to his personal life. But when you open up that door and you allow people to ask you one question, media can ultimately,
Right.
switch it up.
And,
So
and again, too, the NBA is a private, that's what they do. And they knew what
private home.
they knew who they signed themselves to, right? That's like me and you and my job. I work for white people. I promise you it's not a day in my life I'm gonna go tell these racist crackers none of that, because this is them,
Yeah.
and I know how they operate and I know the rules I gotta live in. I'm gonna come tell y'all and y'all gonna agree with me. You feel me? I'm gonna have support here, but I know that's idiotic to do there, right? No matter right, wrong, or indifferent. I know that would cause me to lose my livelihood, right? So if this was his end goal to retire, or to sacrifice everything for whatever, hey, so be it. I wish him the best. We see what happened to Cap, right? But Cap was actually standing for some different causes, but nonetheless, we see how you get shunned. So I
Right.
wish him the best, but I don't think that this should be. People are saying, like, I think people should just stop with the shock. I think that's what really throws me. Like, what are you shocked for, right? Outrage, sure. Maybe you think his punishment is severe, whatever. Cool. But the shock, why are you shocked?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's true. Well, thank you so much, Denise, for calling in. I did drop the link if anybody else wants to call in. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I dropped the link for anyone else that wanted to call in. Now, she did touch on something that was really important. I was going to speak on was Colin Kaepernick. So y'all know that he was an All-American quarterback. He took his team to the Super Bowl. And y'all know he has not been able to play in the NFL ever again. And all he did was simply take a knee, right? And there was so much said about what he did. And it had nothing to do with him being anti-Semitic, him doing any hate speech. They were just disgusted that he took a stance against Black people being killed at the hands of police officers. So it's really crazy that they could not fathom why he didn't want to kneel during their prized possession of the national anthem, and why he would make this stance. But if you guys do not know, Tyrann Mathieu, he now is with the Raiders, I believe, or I think it's the Raiders. He used to be a player for the Chiefs. Yeah, I know I'm Kansas City native, and so that's my team. They played against the Patriots, which is Tom Brady. And Tyrann Mathieu said that basically Tom Brady said something very racist and very offensive to him on the football field, you guys. He said he was not going to repeat it because he already knew exactly what role he was going to go down if he said what exactly Tom Brady said. But y'all know that they basically brushed past that and said, oh, it's just football. Y'all know how y'all are on the field. And it's like, again, if y'all are against anti-hate, y'all are against these type of things, why do we basically give certain people, and y'all know who those are, passes, but hold others to just a overwhelming amount of standards? Colin Kaepernick did nothing wrong when he took a knee. That is his right. He does not have to do that. I am someone, I do not do the national anthem, nor does my children. We go by the Black national anthem, but if we're gonna go by anything, we're not doing that, the national anthem. But that's my right. That's how I feel. That's how I was raised. However, for him to go from All-American, take his team to the Super Bowl, and lose his career over taking a knee, to here we are now, fast forwarding, y'all can't, that shit can't fly no more because people have more sense. They're too scared to do that. Y'all find other ways to target these Black people, and y'all do it at rates that are not the same as y'all do for y'all counterparts, which is white people. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's really weird, but that was all that I had to say for today. If you guys are watching the replay gang, please comment below. How do you guys feel? Do y'all feel like Kyrie Irving was treated wrong? Now, we are going to come back for part 2 because I'm going to watch the documentary. I'm curious to see what the hell was said in there. And like I said, I am going to talk to the couple people that I know that that are Israelites, Hebrews, and I want to get a sense of understanding. I was raised Kojic, so this is something new to me. This is uncharted territory. I'm not really familiar about their belief system and how they do a lot of things. I know that they all say that they are the chosen ones, but I don't even know what that means. I mean, hell, when we think about what is it? When we think about Jehovah Witnesses, y'all know they think that only 35 people can get into heaven. You know, like, who am I to say that these beliefs are wrong? I mean, if you, I say, I think I'm God's favorite. I don't know, y'all. Like, it's just so much. So I really want to watch the documentary. I really want to see what it's about. And then I'll go on and further go into why I do believe or don't believe that the film is harmful or not. I don't know, but I do stand on what I said. I feel like Kyrie punishment did not fit the crime, but he did, you know, flex on him. He's gonna retire. He's already a multimillionaire. He doesn't really have to work another day in his life. And I mean, hey, being an athlete is hard on your body anyway. He already has a son. Maybe he'll be able to build a more family and get a better understanding of himself. So I will see y'all in the next video.